bad week and a bad few months recently, Tesla, essentially they reported deliveries of 386,810 vehicles in the first quarter this year. And it's actually down from the same period last year where they reported 422,875 deliveries. Their stock took a massive hit. As of today, it's down 36% in the last 6 months. It's crazy. And honestly, I personally have a lot of money invested into Tesla, so I'm particularly interested in this, funny enough. But before I get into my opinion on it, Nick, what do you think about this?
My opinion is this. At the end of the day, we even saw with Apple when we discussed it last week where companies go up and down, okay? It's just the way of the cycle. For a company to keep growing and growing and growing and growing, yes, that's obviously amazing. And yes, that's what a shareholder wants to see. But in this case, there are multiple factors. Number one, like we had mentioned, could it be interest rates? Number two, also, they slowed down the amount of shipping to Europe, especially for electric vehicles, not only Tesla, but also Volvo, because of the Red Sea attacks. So that is also something to take into consideration. Basically, now that, they're halting and they're not taking the Red Sea to ship cars from China. So all the manufacturers, basically what they're doing is one of the biggest manufacturers for Tesla and electric vehicles kind of halted production because there's been like 2 ships that have been attacked and one of them got sunk. So, there's a lot of moving factors. Now, does this mean the company's done? Like I forget who I was watching. This guy's like, it's done. The company's going to be valued at like $14.
He's a short seller.
He's a short seller. Of course, he's going to give this negative PR. I still think at the end of the day, they're strong. They will have some competition coming out, and I think they will need to adapt. They may need to make some changes, but I don't think it's definitely something that's going to dramatically be a game changer in the long run.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's funny, I invested all my RRSPs in Tesla, but honestly, I couldn't care less about them because I invest in real estate. At the end of the day, my accountant tells me send this much to your RRSPs and I'll put that much in my RRSPs and I just put it all into Tesla. But it's still a good chunk of money. But the reason I don't care is I believe in Elon Musk.
Yep.
I read his book. I've talked to you guys I've talked to you, Nick, specifically about the book a lot. So I just believe in Elon Musk. I believe in his work ethic. I believe in his vision. I believe in, his drive to get shit done. And I think it's another one of those events where, everyone's counting him out and stuff and piling on him. But there is some cause for worry for sure. I mean, deliveries are down, 25% from the same quarter last year. That's horrible. I would just say like what I see from the company is more their ability to capitalize eventually on, let's say, AI, on AGI, artificial general intelligence, all these different things. You know how much data they have from their vehicles filming people driving all day long?
It's nuts.
They have the largest data set of real world activities probably of any company in the world. So there's different things like that you just can't, you can't, it's not generating income today, but it's worth something. It's worth a lot actually. You know what I mean? And so, those are the things that I'm seeing. And then they're discussing, reinventing the whole assembly line. Creating an assembly line where essentially each team would manufacture certain components of the vehicle separately, and then it would all get put together at the end. Whereas now it's like the whole frame goes through the factory and then they'll like piece by piece, each team will like add their part to the moving car as it goes through the production line. And they're explaining that that's super inefficient because if every team, like not every team could work on the vehicle at the same time, right? So it's like as the vehicle comes to your station, that's when you could work on that vehicle. So it creates a lot of inefficiencies. I don't know, just the fact that they're thinking of different ways to innovate the production line, the fact that they're currently one of the only car companies that doesn't have like the same factory that they've been using forever, right? They could actually adapt their current factories or their new factories to start implementing these different things. Essentially, what I've read is that their real goal, the next goal that they want to do is they want to bring down the cost of an electric car to 25 grand, which sounds insane. So different things like that is why I think that they're definitely not in trouble, but who knows? At the end of the day, it's a company like any other company. We'll see what happens, but I don't think that it's much cause to worry.
I don't think so too, but again, you know what I mean? Obviously, when sales are not there or demand or there's a lack of purchase and delivery, of course investors are going to get, nervous. Then the news articles come out. Then you got the short sellers saying, hey, we told you guys, these firms, and they're not doing like $2,000. These guys got a lot of money that they're short selling. It was like one of the big things was, for me, prime example was like Lightspeed. They got short sold. Their stock went from $120 to $20. Now, I don't think that will happen to Tesla just because obviously there's Elon Musk that is backing it up. And, a lot of people believe in not just the company, but also love that it's a US company, which is absolutely amazing. So no, I don't think there's anything to worry, but I do definitely think that they need to pivot, especially with the new car I had seen online recently. Now, I don't know, can't believe everything. I don't even know the name of it, but I recently saw online that there was like this new car for like $30,000 that looked pretty insane. The one that is just like the key tap. And so if they have more competition, that's going to give people the same kind of luxury feeling, nice coupe, electric, and it's 30,000 and they're still pricing their cars at, I don't know how much it is. What is it, like 60 to probably...
Yeah, the cheapest is probably 40 to 60
there
grand,
you go.
I guess.
Then, yeah, at the end of the day, even though people love it, people at the end of the day want to look out for their pockets, right? So if they like the car and the design's sick, then that's when I would be like, okay, they're going to... But I believe they have a game plan and things will definitely change, for sure.
I mean, I do think that there is some cause to worry, regarding that. Like, there's definitely way more competition in electric vehicles, and I think they need to double down. They need to get that self-driving car out there. Yep. They need to do something about that. Like, if you could buy a Tesla and not have to drive it anywhere in the world, that's an incredible selling point. You know what I mean?
Is it though? Because at the same time, I personally buy a car because I enjoy driving. So, you know what I mean? Like,
if I could get to work every single day or anywhere or any meeting and not have to drive, not have to touch the vehicle, and I could take calls and I could do meetings and I could message people, answer my emails, do anything in the vehicle as it drives me there, and I have a high confidence that it's not going to crash, and even if it does, let's say that I'm probably not going to die, I'm definitely buying it like fucking 10 years ago. Like, I'm buying it like so hardcore, I'll pay double the price of any car to have that happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you could have, if you care about your time, you'll probably have enough money to, I guess, buy another luxury vehicle and then have this vehicle drive you around everywhere, and you could drive your luxury vehicle anytime you want. I don't know. That would probably be what I would do. I would just get a luxury vehicle if I cared that much about it, just to when I want to drive myself. But in terms of work-related things, it's like having your own personal driver. It's insane.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, I totally agree with you. Just for me, I guess it's just like one of the things. I'm even just right now, I'm a horrible passenger. I always like to be in control of the vehicle. That's why I'm not a big fan of flying, not a big fan of anything that I don't have control. I rather drive. So for me, it's not a selling point, but for a lot of people, I can see why it is. So I definitely do think that when that happens, because I know Uber's also really banking on that when it does happen, it will be a game changer. Hopefully they're the first ones to do it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're not, that's going to be a big
That's going to
deal.
take a significant hit on Tesla.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. If they're not, let's say, I know they already have some of the features, but you still, I don't believe that you can just like, it just drives
no, it's
automatically.
not. They call it
yet.
like full self-driving,
Right.
but it's not really full self-driving. And they tell you to keep your hands on the wheel and stuff, but it's not like perfect, but it's apparently really close to being like right there and being ready for like everybody to use and be able to trust better than, let's say, a human driving you around.
Yeah.
The other part that I have to add, though, that I find people kind of overlook is that he owns SpaceX, right? So he owns a company that sends rockets into space, that sends satellites into space. There are certain innovations that he makes within that company that he then brings to Tesla. So I think that that's something that people often overlook. Like there's certain materials that he understands is cheap and that could withstand going into space or going through some like incredibly hot temperatures or freezing temperatures or whatever. Like he's finding out about these innovative materials or innovative solutions to problems. And Then he brings that to Tesla. There's no other company that's at least no other car company that's affiliated with a rocket company. You know what I mean? And I think people often overlook that. The other thing to consider is like, think about when the US and Russia and China and all that were having the space race. Remember the space race? We weren't even alive at that point, but so many innovations came out of that space race. And so when you think about it, like people think it's a waste of I actually thought this at one point, like what's the point of spending all this money going to space? But then I realized it forces you to create innovations that then get used everywhere else in the world, right? Like SpaceX created Starlink on accident. They realized they could send satellites into the orbit, the Earth's orbit, and then they could sell connectivity to the world.
Yeah, no,
that was an accident.
Listen, in terms of innovation and the sales being short, I don't think it's something to worry about. Obviously, investors, no one likes to see a stock go down. What did you say, 36%? Something like that?
In 6 months, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. No one likes to see that, but, you know, it happens. They'll bounce back. In my opinion, they'll bounce back. Maybe not tomorrow. Could be in a year. Could be in 2 years. But definitely, in terms of innovation side, they have that covered. It's just, how affordable can you make it for the people?
Yeah.
If they have the innovation, make it affordable for people, then it's a game winner. And yeah, that's.
If you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to enter a chance to win an all-inclusive vacation for 2 people, click right here.